Hello and welcome to Sharks Happen. My name is Hal. I'm your host, going over shark attacks from the 1900s to present. Mostly large sharks. We're going to get started right away. We got to go over to California off the coast of San Diego. Alligator Reef, Sunday, June 14th, 1959. There's a couple of buddies out there. They're doing some abalone free diving. They're in about 40-foot deep water. Robert Pamperin, age 33. Gerald Layer, his buddy, age 30. They're out there. They get separated by about 30 meters, which is about 45, 50 feet. So they're spread out quite a ways, and all of a sudden, Layer hears Pamperin scream out, "Help me." Looks over at him and says that he was unnaturally high out of the water. Straight up and down, but unnaturally high out of the water. So normally you see somebody's head and a little bit of their shoulders maybe. Well, he probably saw quite a good portion of his chest, I'm thinking. Kind of creepy. So he doesn't know what's going on. He starts swimming over to his buddy. He's looking at his buddy the whole time, and all of a sudden he says that everything went in slow motion. You could see his buddy just slowly disappear, and now you could see that it was blood-stained water. So he looks under the water, and he says he saw his buddy in the mouth of a 7-meter great white. That would be a 23-foot great white, and there was one 23-footer measured off of Malta that was caught off of Malta. Huge shark. They found a 6-foot blue shark, a 8-foot dolphin, and a sea turtle in this shark's stomach all at once. So they can definitely swallow people, and they have done it in the past. But says that he had his buddy all the way up into his mouth, so he couldn't see his legs. His legs were all the way in the mouth, and the shark went down to the bottom to the seafloor, and he says it started wriggling. He couldn't tell if it was trying to spit him out or if it was trying to swallow him whole. I'm thinking it was trying to swallow him whole. And I'm thinking it might be a tiger shark too, the fact that it went to the bottom like that. Great whites don't go to the bottom like that. Tiger sharks are known to take their prey to the bottom once they get them. So it's down there and it's wrestling, and he decides to dive down to try to help his buddy to try to scare the shark away. And he says that the shark is just shaking his buddy, and there's nothing he can do. He finally gets up and he goes back, and a witness that had seen the attack that was on shore met him halfway out, about 15 meters out, and brought him into shore. And then divers were in the water within 2 hours. They couldn't find a sign of this guy. So pretty sure he was eating a lot, eating half whole. So he ended up quinted, my buddy Quinn here. He ended up halfway in the guy's mouth. And I'm pretty sure that's predation, a predation attempt. They hit you from the bottom like that. That's just, that's how they go after the seals. You're getting hit with all that force, let alone whatever else happens. And this guy, both his legs ended up going right in the shark's mouth. That's just creepy. So that's our first story. I hope you stay with us. We got another one right now. Okay, now we go to an even creepier story, if that's possible, over in False Bay, South Africa, Miller's Point. It's Saturday, June 4th, 2005. A couple of spear fishermen, Henri Murray, his buddy Pete Van Niekerk, 22 and 23 respectively. They're out about 100, 200 yards from shore in about 20 feet deep water doing some spear fishing, when suddenly Henri Murray, he surfaces and yells to his buddy Pete, "We have to get out of the water, there's a great white here." They start swimming as hard as they can, and Pete says that the great white breached in between them, jumped out of the water, and just disappeared below the surface, right in between the two swimmers now, spear fishermen, but they're swimming now. And Pete says he turned around to see the shark take 2 snaps at Henri, but Henri fought him off. He had a spear in his hand, and there's ways to fight him off. I'm thinking using the spear or using your feet. Many people have tried to keep him away like that, and he said the third bite Henri couldn't fight him off, and he looked underwater, and it had Henri all the way up to his arms in his mouth. So he didn't actually see the third bite happen. There was a guy standing on the beach, Mr. Ernest, I believe his name is. But the eyewitness was standing looking out over the bay as the attack happened, and he said it was quite the thing. He says the shark came up out of the water with the guy all the way up to his arms and his mouth. So he swallowed him probably 3/4 of the way up, and that first bite came up underneath him or behind him, but got both his legs and his arms pinned and then he disappeared below the surface. So now Pete goes over, and the shark's coming at him. He takes and shoots it in the side with his spear. Shark takes off. So he goes and gets out of the water, and they search. They can't find a single sign of Henri Murray. He seems to have been eaten by the shark. They saw the shark. Fishermen saw the shark the next day. It was dragging behind it the spearfish gun, and then the buoy that's attached to that of Henri Murray. So they actually did get to see the shark again, but no sign of Henri Murray again. So that's 2 attacks today, 2 predation attempts. We're at a good 10-to-1 on wanting to eat them to not wanting to eat them. That'll even out a bit when we get going further, I'll guarantee you that. But anyway, we're going to get on to this last story. Not quite as creepy, but again, seems like another scene from Jaws. Okay, we're going to round this out. We're going to go off the coast of Hawaii, off of Oahu, off Lunakai. It's Saturday, December 13th, 1958. There are 6 friends aged 9 to 15, the oldest being Billy Weaver. They head out and they're going to go and do some surfing. Some of them are on boards. A few of them are on those floating rafts. Billy Weaver's on a floating raft, a 15-year-old, and they're all catching waves in, and Billy misses this wave, and all his friends have gotten the wave in. He ends up clinging onto his raft, and his friends are wondering what's up, so they go swimming out to him, and he's lying in a pool of blood. Get him out of the water, and the shark came up and bit off his leg at the knee, and he ended up bleeding to death. So there was nothing that could be done for him. The kids were awfully brave to go out there, and the oldest kid's out there, and he's the one that's hurting. Man, that's a tough situation. So I'm always amazed that people can go out into the water and help these people when there's sharks out there. I couldn't fathom that. I mean, if there's a shark and you're in it and I'm there, you're in trouble. So that's just the way it is. So I'm just being honest with you. I am just in shock by these stories when I read them. So I hope you enjoyed the show. There's 2 predations, 1 test bite. The test bite probably from a tiger shark, garbage truck at the sea. Going to test out anything that's floating on top of the water. Those things are something else with what they'll eat. So that's the show. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please click the like button. If you want notifications for when the next shows are, hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. And remember, if you're going in that water, you are much more afraid of those sharks than they are of you.